Hi, I'm Mike Chartrand. It is so hard to make these videos. Um, this is Varicocele Surgery Failure, Part 4, 9. My story from 2013 to 2017. Inflammation unexplained and appointments declined. Um, I'm just going to quickly show my table of contents for the other videos so you can see where this uh, lies in the story here. I'm making updates to bring things up to date periodically, and I've explained the background. So clearly in the last videos, urologists were very intent on convincing me that my walking problems were completely because of pelvic floor pain and not because of the varicocele. My question to them was why the scar tissue. Also, my scrotum was expanding and contracting to triple the size during the day. They were changing the question. They were blaming the spinal issues and ignoring the pink tender skin and the fact that I had literally been brought to the floor, dragged down by the varicocele. I did have the surgery because I was brought down by the varicocele, and surgery had hardly reduced the size. I began to get pain in 2013 between my legs. One day I called emergency. I had applied for a wheelchair in 2009 and still had not gotten one, so I had no way of going to emergency. The ambulance attendant said that she could not get the stretcher into my apartment because of clutter. Later she said that this was just a test to see if I could walk. Plus, the police had arrived 45 minutes earlier and had been there the whole time chatting. It's not that I couldn't walk, I can't walk without promoting my pain, and that at that time the pain was severe. Anyway, when I got to the hospital, a man told me that they would force me into an upright wheelchair. Once I was sure they would force me, I got in myself, and it was very painful. The doctor diagnosed a hemorrhoid that was probably descending and had retracted by the time he got there. Another time, I called Dr. Housecalls about the pain between my legs. He diagnosed a rash and prescribed gabapentin. Gabapentin was far more effective than the antidepressant that the psychiatrist gave me and their narcotic from the pain clinic. My new family doctor approved switching gabapentin for the other very expensive medications. I felt a lot better in my mind, but the gabapentin numbs the feeling in my body. Even with the medication, the pain still gets worse the more I stand or walk. It gets worse exponentially. It becomes excruciating. That's why I don't walk. In 2013, I paid for my own powered scooter and got a manual wheelchair from the Society for Manitobans with Disabilities for my home. I had been basically housebound for almost 5 years. I started to go back to the YMCA, the physiotherapist, chiropractor, and massage more often. I had applied for a wheelchair in 2009, but I did not get one until 2013. I only qualified for a manual wheelchair because I could not stay in a power wheelchair for 6 hours. The physiotherapy exercises were difficult to do. I could only really start to improve when I did the exercises in the water. It was especially hard to pull the belly button to the spine. The bridge exercise still hurts me more than it helps me. I had a number of hemorrhoids and began to go to the walk-in clinic more often because it usually took 3 hours for the family doctor to see me, and it takes 5 days for me just to recover from seeing the family doctor. My 3-hour wait family doctor diagnosed me with an inguinal hernia. He said it was too small for surgery. You can see photos on Facebook at grade 4 varicocele. I saw another family doctor who referred me to Dr. McMahon. Dr. McMahon ignored the photos I showed him. Dr. McMahon did the Valsalva hand test. He ignored the Mayo Clinic results I showed him and referred to a Canadian test that said a significant varicocele was not found. I wanted to know why when I had that ultrasound, I wanted to know why my scrotum inflamed to 3 times its normal size. So for that ultrasound test that Dr. McMahon is referring to, I had brought a hot water bottle, which usually keeps the veins big. The definition of a varicocele is usually just an inflamed scrotum. The person who wrote that report for that ultrasound simply looked for reflux or backward blood flow. He determined it was not a varicocele based simply on a lack of reflux at that time, and not the size of the veins in the scrotum or the big scrotum, which is the normal definition that people use for varicocele. That ultrasound does not even answer the question, how inflamed was the scrotum and why is it inflamed? That's what I still need to know. There is somehow in Manitoba a pervasive opinion in the medical community that varicocele only involves reflux or backward blood flow that can be detected at any given time in an ultrasound. This is very problematic. I even wrote the hospital, who refused to answer my clear question. I wrote on a copy of my Mayo Clinic report, what is the number and size of the veins? Is the blood flow fast, slow, or undetectable? They refused to answer. Actually, my doctor at the walk-in clinic requested that. With my writing on there. Right after my visit with Dr. McMahon, I was diagnosed with an anal fissure at a walk-in clinic. I had not been to that walk-in clinic before. I went there because I needed to see the doctor quickly. It was a walk-in clinic at Four Rivers, and not my family doctor, who referred me to the rectal surgeon, Dr. Silverman. Dr. Silverman diagnosed me with Levator-Ani syndrome. Actually, he clarified later Levator-Ani syndrome when I went back a second time. He said it was not a fissure. Dr. Silverman recommended the rehab specialist, Dr. Daniels, who wrote the report in video 1, because the physiotherapists I had already seen were the most highly recommended for my problem, and I had already been there. Dr. Daniels wrote the report in video 1, which assessed my spinal issues and pelvic floor issues, and recommended a pelvic floor steroid injection, which I can only get in Toronto. I recently complained to the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority, or WRHA, that Dr. McMahon did not refer me for a venogram or microsurgery. The WRHA called back and said that Dr. McMahon would see me. They called back a few days later and said that he could not see me for a long time, but I could see Dr. Saltel. Dr. Saltel declined the appointment with no reason given. I called the WRHA, and they said that Dr. Saltel declined the appointment because he does not do microsurgery. WRHA said that I could be referred to Dr. Keith Jarvis at Mount Sinai Clinic in Toronto. They said that Dr. Saltel would collaborate with my family doctor. They said that my family doctor should phone him, that they would both write a letter to the out-of-province coordinator for approval. When my family doctor phoned him, Dr. Saltel said that he had given a name, and he hung up on my doctor. My doctor said that he was unhelpful. And so why didn't Dr. Saltel tell my doctor that he would refer me out of town until I complained? So that brings us roughly up to date. I wanted to be honest with the public because I feel like I have been treated unfairly, although I have done nothing wrong. I'm very tired from doing these videos. My abdominals are very tense. Urologists in Manitoba do not understand or are not willing to admit the potential effects of varicocele on other parts of the body. In extreme cases such as mine, it is critical to get the varicocele surgery right. It needs microsurgery. It needs to get a venogram to find the collateral veins and to know what went wrong with my first surgery. And what about the other surgeries that men are getting for varicocele that are failing? Why do fertility surgery, and then if it fails and they don't do a venogram, they don't see if the surgery failed? I hope that this video will help urology students and men whose surgeries have failed to resolve their pain to take seriously pain from varicocele and surgery failure and the reasons for it. I hope that in the future, no urologist will tell a patient that it is only a 2 out of 10 achy, draggy feeling in the scrotum, especially after the surgery fails. It's up to the patient to tell the doctor that there is pain, not to the doctor to minimize the patient's pain, especially after the surgery. Men have different pain. It can lead to other problems. If you're having groin pain and chronic back pain and you have a varicocele, or if you're a urology student and are considering studying the link between varicocele and other physical problems, I wish you much success. Please comment on this video or contact me at Grade 4 Varicocele on Facebook with your findings. We need to promote study of varicocele and to get our stories out there so that we are not marginalized, but referred to specialists who take seriously the link between varicocele, scrotal pain, orchialgia, referred pain, and manual labor, even office work, and chronic back pain. Thanks for listening to my story.